This is the World Organic News podcast for the week ending the 21st of March 2016. John Moore reporting. This episode of the World Organic News podcast is brought to you by Gem Biscuits. Gem Biscuits are gluten-free sorghum flour-based biscuits and cookies, choc chip, hazelnut choc chip, coffee hazelnut choc chip, and the original spicy sorghum. All these are handmade with, of course, organic ingredients. These biscuits are the bomb. Please go and check out the website, gembiscuits.com. That's gembiscuits.com. A link is in the show notes. This week on the blog, two separate yet interconnected themes popped out. The first is that, unfortunately, perennial issue of bees. Firstly, the honey holding blog reminds us of the many ways bees help humans. Honey is, after all, but one benefit. Pollinations are worth so much more. To give you some idea of the extent of these pollination services, I've included a photo in the show notes. This photo shows food available with and without bees. The difference is stark. The blog, A Sweet Dose of Reality, gives 57 reasons why honeybees are in decline. 57 may be an exaggeration, but maybe not. They focus on the pesticide question and how we are unaware of the effects of these chemicals and the almost limitless combinations in which they are used. It's a fair point. We hardly have sufficient evidence for the safety of these chemicals when used singly, and not over the vast cycles of agricultural time. It's worth remembering that every chemical withdrawn from use, DDT, PCBs, organophosphates, 2,4,5-T, also known as Agent Orange, etc., were all once approved as being safe. Just let that sink in for a while. There is, of course, a link to both these blogs in the show notes. Then we come to the blog Rebecca's Garden, which discusses the art of crop rotation. At its most basic, crop rotation is a system which ensures no one crop is grown on the same piece of land more than once in every 3 years. The medieval system was a 3-step process: wheat or some other grain, followed by peas, and then a year of fallow. Crop rotations can be as complicated or as simple as the 3-step system. Rebecca's Garden uses a 4-group rotation: roots, potatoes, legumes, and onions/brassicas. The idea being each group takes something from the soil and leaves something for the next group. So legumes leave nitrogen, roots and potatoes are used to clean the soil of weeds, and so on. Rebecca's Garden goes much deeper than this and has some nice pics of her progress. I'll follow the link in the show notes. The 4-group rotation used by Rebecca's Garden is a good workable system. It is similar to the system outlined in the Food from Garden section of John Seymour's complete book of self-sufficiency. But we'll get to that eventually. Not surprisingly, the garden takes up a huge chunk of the complete book of self-sufficiency. A word of caution though. John Seymour is old school, very old school. He recommends not just digging your garden beds, but double digging them. I tried this. In fact, I've tried this too many times. It is hard work and definitely not necessary, particularly if you keep animals as Seymour suggests. I'll cover the wonders of no-dig methods when we get to the Mollison and Holmgreen section and the world of permaculture. Suffice it to say, Seymour dug. As such, his list of garden tools reflects this. Yet this section also has some useful tables on the fertiliser value of various manures, info on the gentle art of composting, and the value of mulching. Added to these is the tried and true practice of green manuring. This involves growing crops to be turned under. This has the effect of covering the soil when not in direct production, provides organic matter to the soil once turned in, a sort of in situ composting. While Seymour explains the gentle art of actual composting, he also suggests a 12-hour shortcut: feeding the vegetative material through an animal. I really like this. I've always found working directly with the manures, preferably collected in bedding straw, to be far superior. The mix will also contain urine and therefore nitrogen. It holds water better than normal compost, and yet is still free draining, a kind of wonder feed for every plant. We'll continue our journey next time into sowing and seed starting the Seymour way. Sometime the next week, Please don't forget to check out www.gembiscuits.com. That's Gem, J-E-M. Any questions, feedback or criticisms are most welcome. Email me at john@worldorganicnews.com. That's John, J-O-N, no H. A transcript of each episode is available on the blog at worldorganicnews.com under the tab Podcasts. Sounds used in this podcast are courtesy of Texas Radio Theatre Company on the Freesound site. Links are in the show notes. Thanks for listening. I'll be back again in a week.